characters from Toy Story. And then when Andy walked in, they all fell to the ground.
That's fantastic.
And stayed still.
I like that.
Yeah, and apparently it took them a minute to be like,
Oh, okay.
okay, I get this. I get what this is all about. Just took him a little bit of a second.
That's really cute.
I'm finding Sharpies galore and no pens.
Do you want a pencil? I definitely have a pencil.
I got a pen.
Oh, is
Is
that?
Eileen already on?
Yep. Okay, we are now live streaming.
All right. Hey, everybody. It is 6:07, and I will officially call this meeting of the nominating committee to order. So, hello. For roll call, Sarah Masinski
Lynette Robinson.
and Arlene Way. Can you hear Lynette?
I can hear you fine. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right. We also have Andrea, Melanie, and Kirsten with us. Were there any public comments?
No public comment.
Yay. Check. All right. So when we met last time, we discussed the trustee vacancy. And we had decided to go through the election results and speak to in order. I did reach out to oh golly, what's his name? Carlos, yes, thank you. And he sounded appreciative when I talked to him, but he declined. He said he was not interested at the present. Next on our list was Kirsten. I called Kirsten and then sent the longer email, like with everything that we had talked about. And Kirsten is interested in joining us and serving us until the election. So I've invited Kirsten here to join us, to ask us any questions and know what it is that she is potentially volunteering for. So, do you have any questions? Do you want me just to talk?
I'll let you go ahead, and then if I have any questions, I will.
All right.
I'll jump in with questions.
So we will do our best to help you get acclimated and trained for the time that you're here. There is what's called a core training that we all have to take, which is coming up in December. So we will all do that together, I assume. And Melanie, when Lynette and I joined, and I think Arlene also, Melanie had put together this beautiful binder of Albany Public Library resources, history, Robert's rules, all the things that one might want to know. And so that'll be provided, as well as, we're happy to be with you and, introductions and helping you find things and navigate things. I think for me, the biggest thing is knowing who to ask. And knowing that it is okay to ask questions, and nobody expects you to come in knowing everything.
That's good. Always plus.
I still don't know.
Yeah.
So, training wise, it is a short term. It is until the next election. That doesn't accepting or choosing to serve. I'm trying to find the right words, and I'm not sure if I am getting all the correct ones, but choosing to serve would not prohibit you from running again, and then having an actual full term at the end of the 6 months.
Okay.
That's totally allowed, and, it would give you a good base coming in of what to expect. Board meetings are the second Tuesday of every month. They take place downstairs at 6:00. They take a while. I guess we're being honest.
Yeah.
They take a long time.
Mhm.
I would expect, 2 to 3 hours for the meeting. And then there are committee meetings as well. The seat that has been vacated was Tom, and Tom was on facilities, which is, I'm on facilities, and it is chaired by Paige Barnum. And the other committee is audit and finance, I believe.
Mhm.
And that is chaired by Sarah Dallas. And I'm not sure who else is on it. But everyone is happy to work with you and answer questions. And Sarah Dallas has been around for a very long time. She is ending, this is the last year of her term.
Okay.
So she's done the full thing. And
Paige Barnum is the other trustee on the finance.
oh, is she on that one?
Yeah.
So it would be two committees with Paige.
Okay.
And
And so the expectation is that I would, if I were to come on as a trustee, would be filling the committee positions as well that he vacated.
that is our understanding.
Yeah, and in terms of the finance committee in particular, that's a committee that is going to be active in the
Mhm.
next few months because the budget needs to go through the approval process, and it starts with the finance committee. So the standing agenda for the board, which is something that the board determines and kind of holds all of the regularly occurring items in it. In November, the audit report is given at the November meeting, and then the finance committee, based on how often they met last year, there was a meeting in late November, which they'd probably be on track to have a similarly timed meeting to start the process this year, and then a meeting in August and a meeting in February leading up to the special budget meeting.
November and then when?
January. Yeah, and then last year there were 2 meetings in February, but depending on when the meeting in January takes place, and that last year's was postponed due to weather, so it had to take place in early February, and then there was one more meeting February 16th in advance of the budget meeting, the budget approval, special meeting, because there are 2 board meetings that happen in February, the regular meeting and the budget meeting.
Okay.
I am on facilities, but I am new to facilities. I was not on facilities last year, so I can't give you a real good feel for the commitment on facilities. We've met once so far this year, and it was a fairly straightforward meeting. We talked about building issues and applying for grants, and continue to talk about the bathroom issue and that there's not enough.
Looking at the schedule from last year, they had one in January and one in May as well. So
Okay. So the committee meetings are not meeting on a regular, like, monthly basis. They're
No.
kind of
Subject to the committee availability.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this is my first in-person nominating committee meeting. So,
Well, there have only been, I think,
what, 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is running for, and I'm sorry if I'm
Go
doing
ahead.
that.
No, go ahead.
For the seat in June. Is that something that you, right, 6 months?
I think it's
Am I right?
May,
May,
isn't
isn't
it?
It will,
May.
she'll run in, or the election is in May.
Mhm.
Okay.
Your term will end
I
in
started,
May, because
I was the short term, and so I started right after the election.
right, so you,
So like I came on
in June.
a smidge before everybody else
Yep.
did.
So the way the election will go, if you do decide to run,
Mhm.
is we have 2 open positions this year,
Mhm.
and then the remainder of your this
This
shortened
partial
this
term.
partial term. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. So the top 2 vote getters
Mhm.
will get the 2 full terms,
Uh-huh.
and then the third highest vote will get the shortened version, the shortened term. So
Okay.
you could, depending if you did decide to run, and where you wound up on that
Mhm.
spectrum, you'd either
Gotcha.
get a full term or a partial term or no term.
Gotcha. Okay. And as to your question, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Because my husband has a bee in his bonnet about sometime in the next year, maybe moving, but he's not sure. So, like, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to commit to this, we are committing to stay through the end of that. So I know that I'm here through the end of like when this would end. Beyond that, we're gonna make that decision in the next couple of months.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Husband.
it's one of, well, and it's one of those like we both have parents that are getting older
Mhm.
and they all live on the other side of the country, and it's kind of like we need to go back at some point. When is that point? Is that point now? Is that point in like 5 years?
Right.
Because we love being here. He's been here 20 years. I've been here like 11 years, and we love it. But we want to be around our families before, So, in full transparency, the answer is at this moment, I don't know.
Okay.
But I would definitely be here through the end of this one. And if we decide to stay, the answer would be a resounding yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Do you have any other questions about anything? I mean, I hit training and sort of commitment.
Mhm.
I'm not. I feel like those are the big things.
So if you had to kind of put a average how much time you spend as a trustee each month, in those.
Arlene,
trustee-
you had a figure when we were talking about this last time.
Okay, probably, okay, so, and the 2 committee, well, you have 1 committee that meets, the finance committee probably meets regularly. But, you're looking at maybe about 3 to 5 hours a month. Okay, and the thing is that with the committees, you decide with your colleagues when that committee meeting is going to occur.
Mhm.
Okay, so you guys will work that out together. It will fit your collective schedule. Okay, and as Sarah said earlier, the board meets every month, the 2nd Tuesday of every month. Okay, so, and that one could run between 2 or 3 hours, not necessarily that long, but it could run up to that long.
Well, if
Okay,
there's any week that you guys would have a meeting, Tuesday is like, when I was looking at my calendar, I'm like, oh, Tuesday is like the day that like I know I can be there for every one of those meetings without
excellent.
a problem. So
Okay.
that I felt good about that. I went through all of my calendar and was like, okay, I could make it to every single one, not a problem.
And the other ones, you will work it out with your colleagues, with your other committee members. You all will decide when that's going to be. Okay.
I don't think we have too many other questions. I can't think of anything. Anything else you guys really want to make sure I know?
You get a fun library name tag.
Nice. So I think you guys know I do serve on the FFAPL board. I assume that I would need to resign from that to take this position.
I don't think so. No, not
Okay.
necessarily.
I wasn't sure about that.
No, I don't think it's a conflict of
Yeah, 'cause-
interest in any way.
Okay.
Because both positions ultimately, like, there are different, completely
Mhm.
different roles, missions.
Yeah.
Both happen to support the library, but it's not like you're.
One is against the library.
Exactly,
Yeah.
And in fact, Brigitte serves as ex officio member on
Yep.
it. So we do have
This is true.
a board member on that board as well.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should still talk to Dre.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it could only be helpful.
Yeah.
In terms of communication between the two groups
Mhm.
ultimately.
Yeah.
But I totally respect wanting to talk
Yeah,
to Dre.
that's one of the things that I know we've talked about is the board having a better understanding of the Friends and Foundation and that overlap. So from my perspective, I see that as a win.
Dre and David Brickman will be coming in January to talk about the centennial celebration and the
Oh, good.
centennial year kind of in general,
Mhm.
and the goals of the Friends and Foundation, how they were met, whether they were met, or exceeded.
Yes. Yes.
In the case of the centennial celebration, I
Yeah.
know that will likely be the story, which is
Yes.
exciting. But
Yeah.
yeah, so and that was part of the goals that that the board adopted for me for the year ahead, is having biannual report outs from the Friends and Foundation to the
Nice.
board,
That's
so that the
good.
board can gain an understanding of the different donors
Mm-hmm.
that come forward for the foundation.
Okay.
And our board president is a member of the foundation. She serves Bridget Powell, I'm messing up her.
Prior, you got
Prior.
it. You were.
Thank you. I'm tired apparently.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so she's a member of the Friends and Foundation. So there is absolutely no conflict.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, and that was my biggest question. So
Okay.
I think that's it. I feel like I should have more questions.
Oh, you'll have more
They will come.
questions.
Well, I am sure that I will. Yeah, just in this particular instance, I'm just blissfully unaware of what questions I might have.
I mean, I even got more questions when Melanie sat me down with my binder and I'm like, oh, what's this? What's the school district library versus this kind of library? And all these things I didn't know. So
Okay, good. Good.
Or have your mic
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
this
We'll,
it was
we've got you covered.
All right, cool. I do appreciate that because yeah, there's lots to learn, I'm sure.
And
Right.
you know what? If something comes up when you leave us and you have a question after you walk through the door and something comes up, you can always call. You can always reach out. We'll
just
be
talk down the
available to you. Yeah, call her. Sarah, all of us will be available to you if you have any questions. So you're not by yourself, and there is no such thing as a question that doesn't make sense. Okay, so don't be shy about asking any question of any of us. And Sarah,
I ask questions all the time.
she does.
She's like, I can attest to that.
But like, I feel like it's better for me to really know what it is
Yeah.
I'm thinking about than
Yeah.
to try and think I know what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And everyone's nice about it.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So, all right. Is there anything that we as the nominating committee would like to ask or discuss with Kirsten? They're not for me, but
I think I'm good.
okay.
Yeah.
You good, Arlene?
I'm good. I'm good. So you're going to be ready to meet the family then?
Meet the family.
Yeah, our board.
Okay, okay.
So we
More
have
like we're
on the
dating.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna be. Yeah, it's like being taken home, meet the parents. I'm ready for it.
You ready?
All right. So do we let Kirsten go? Do we make a motion to present her? I don't know if that feels not like the right wording, but to submit Kirsten, also not the right wording, to the board. Thank you. I'm going to write that so I don't,
I make a motion that we present Chris Christian to the board at our November 8th meeting.
14th.
Or it's the 14th? Why am I thinking it's the 8th? Okay. Okay, so
It does feel like it
The week
because
started.
that's
Yeah.
because today's Wednesday.
I second the motion.
Okay.
okay. All right, so I make the motion that we present her at our next board meeting on November 14th.
All right. I have a second from Lynette. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Well, that feels lovely.
Unanimous recommendation.
So when we have the full board meeting on the 14th, we will, as part of our committee, Colette's not, oh my gosh.
Report?
Thank you. I swear I've actually even gone to school and know about words.
You know, sometimes words are hard.
Oy. So we, in our report to the full board, we will discuss the process by which we decided that we would like to recommend Kirsten as for the remaining 6 months. And because it's coming from the committee, there doesn't have to be a motion on it, but everyone will have to vote.
And that will happen under new business. There will be a trustee appoint trustee item.
Okay.
And that's, so in addition to the nominating committee report that comes during the committee and liaison report out section of the meeting, under new business, there will be appoint trustee, and that's when you will make the motion and the board will vote.
Okay. And I know it's an open meeting and everyone, is obviously allowed and invited. Do we want to encourage Kirsten to be there for like the vote and those things, or is it?
Well, what could happen is at the time
I've not done
vote,
this, so I don't know.
I had to look back at the last time that this happened because I wasn't here the last time we appointed the board, appointed a trustee. So at the time when Donna Dixon was appointed, the board took the vote to appoint her, and she made the oath, and there was a resolution all in the same meeting.
Okay.
So that by the end of that meeting, she was an official trustee, and she could attend the next meeting as a full trustee. So
I think that would be that we should do it like that so that we're not waiting and waiting.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was like a executive session or something like that needed to happen.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But you can always raise that with, that with President Pryor, and we can follow up with legal if necessary, but I don't think an executive session is necessary.
As with anything, it's not required, but if somebody calls one or requests one, it can be requested. Is essentially what it turns down to if they feel that there has to be a
For
discussion.
a set number of reasons.
Yes.
Okay.
And one of them would be personnel related to, but
Is it not like
again,
I
talk
feel
to
like
President
this is
Pryor about it because she will want to support you in this
Okay.
process. Because it is a first time for this board as a whole. So
all right. So that is our unfinished business. The new business that I wanted to address is just starting to work on a schedule of nominating committee meetings, because I know with, this is like our first hurdle, but with the election coming up and the positions we're going to be filling, that's going to be our next set of hurdles. And I know it's difficult to bring our schedules together sometimes. What is the best way to schedule with you guys? Do you want to come up with like a specific day a month or a couple days a month, or Google poll or doodle polls, or what is the best for you guys to get us scheduled and on the books?
The further in advance I know, I can clear out things.
Okay.
Just being, working for the charter school, we have our board meetings and everything. And then having a husband who is a pastor of a church, that takes up
Okay.
time too. And then we do have twins who take up a lot of time. But
What?
Yes.
Twins take up a lot of time?
It's crazy. Turning 14, I think. They're 30. So, but the sooner I know, like if you
Okay.
guys say dates, Wednesday and Thursdays usually do not work for me.
Okay.
Mondays are fine. Tuesdays are fine. I don't have anything except for the last Tuesday of every month. There's my school board meeting, but that's over at 6.
Okay. Arlene, are there Mondays and Tuesdays that are good for you?
It depends. So we'll have to look at which ones, because I have other commitments on those days. But the first Mondays are good for me generally. And usually third Mondays, but I have to double check because I have another committee that meets on a Monday.
Okay. For our purposes and to get moving, would you guys like to plan on the first Monday up until the election? And we can add extras in if needed, but that way we've got the next several months booked.
Okay.
Okay, so then we would just be making an adjustment for January because that's New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that.
I think, as we've been doing, Melanie could be the admin representative if necessary. Like I'm traveling at the end of November, and I'll be out of town on the 4th, December
Okay.
4th, which is the first Monday in December.
Okay.
So
I can be here for it.
You don't mind?
Nope, I can be here for it.
Right, and it's okay with you that we have Melanie?
yes, yes.
Just making sure. All right, so then let's plan on that, and it'll get us on all of the calendars, and then when we meet next, we can start discussing, getting people to run for election, as well as whatever it is we have to do to schedule the events and get the packets ready. And
Okay.
I obviously don't know any of those things, but we'll figure it out together. Arlene has been through it before, so you know these things.
We have sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah, we can figure this out. What were you going to say, Andrea?
I was just going to add that we have voluminous documents in our shared drive, boards portal. And so we've got a breadcrumb trail, not only Word docs for how this was, done last time, but also and everything that needs to be put together. And we have, of course, the communications department of the library will also be supporting this effort. You will be, we'll be just.
That is a good one. It's okay for us not to meet this on Monday because I feel like accomplishment.
I'm having a hard time understanding.
Board meeting. Lynette asked about this coming Monday. Monday because we've just had a couple of meetings, and then we'll get the ground running.
Okay.
We're starting to lose you, Arlene. All right, so I think we're okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Or was there a need for executive session? Okay, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Is there a second to adjourn?
Yes, second.
All in favor? We're out. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene.
That's how I felt.